This is Texans TV.
Tonight, we catch up with former Texans linebacker Brian Cushing. We visit former head coach Gary Kubiak and go behind the scenes with voice of the Texans, Mark Vandermeer. That's all coming up tonight on Texans 360.
We are ready to rock in Houston. Rock and roll.
Guess when you think you've seen it all, there's always something else.
Welcome in, everyone, to Texans 360. If you love features, you're going to love tonight's show because we have got a good one for you. We've got the 53. It's a special series featuring lots of different players, former players, coaches, talent. And tonight you get all three because we're going to have a 53 on long snapper John Weeks. We're going to take you behind the scenes of the voice of the Texans, Mark Vandermeer, as well as take a look back at Gary Kubiak, the Texans' former head coach. But first, it's the Texans' all-time leading tackler. He played 9 seasons for the Houston Texans. It's Brian Cushing. Take a look right here on 360.
Intense, of extreme force or degree of strength. That is a definition with which linebacker Brian Cushing is all too familiar.
What kind of man are you, Sharp? What kind of man? I challenge everyone you step up. Make the choice. Jump or a champ.
Brought down by Cushing in the backfield. And picked off Brian Cushing. Brought down to the backfield by Brian Cushing.
How was that celebration?
Touchdown, Houston! Welcome back, Brian!
Hey, if you guys really want, just stay out here for the first series. I'll go out by myself. Yeah. I'll do it, seriously. 1 versus 11, I like my odds.
You know, it was awesome because Cush was like the attitude of your team. How he practiced, how physical he was. You know, he had an edge to him with his teammates. He was demanding of everybody. He was going to give himself up to make every play he could possibly make. And just his swagger around the building, it really wore on our football team.
I just think people liked his intensity. People loved watching Cushing play. And his teammates would talk about how he was in the locker room, especially before games, the fire-breathing dragon that he was. But when he went out there, you know, you saw it. He's a Tasmanian devil.
The scramble out to the left, and he's brought down by Cushing in the backfield.
Before Brian Cushing became an NFL linebacker, his love for sports began in Park Ridge, New Jersey, where he attended famed Bergen Catholic High School.
Growing up, I was the first person in my family to actually play football. It was about 3rd grade I started. It was something I took a liking to right away. I loved the competitiveness, I loved the physicality, and I just loved the game. It was about high school, which I decided football was going to be my sport. It was what I was going to try to eventually make it professionally, and it was something that I couldn't stop thinking about all the time.
Following his graduation from Bergen Catholic, Cushing moved on to greater challenges by taking his love for the game to the West Coast.
USC was an interesting experience. I traveled 3,000 miles away from home to go play football at the time, the #1 team in the country. It was a challenge. It was very tough, physically and mentally. It was a grind. It was tough to be that far away from my family, but it was 4 of the best years of my life, being on my own, growing up, and learning a lot about myself at an incredible university.
You know, you go back and look at Brian's history and how he grew up, a high school player, and how he got to SC, how he went from a safety to a linebacker. And Brian did everything he possibly could do to become a great football player, and how he trained and how he worked. And, the way he played, you wonder if he's going to hold up. That was the biggest thing, but that's the only way Brian knew how to play the game.
Cushing would later go on to be drafted 15th overall in the 2009 NFL Draft, where a new opportunity awaited.
Coming to the Houston Texans was a little bit of an unknown for me. I had been to Texas before, but only Dallas. So this is my first time in Houston. But I was extremely excited for the opportunity, especially with a team that was new, kind of was trying to find its identity and figure itself out. I fell in love with Coach Kubiak right away. I fell in love with the city of Houston and a lot of the older established guys on the team at the time, D'Amico Ryans, Matt Shaw, Mario Williams, all just embraced me from day one. Thought I could help the team, and that was, my #1 objective.
When he walked in, I mean, there was an air about him and confidence about him. I remember when we brought him in right after we drafted him, you know, it was like, Coach, let's go. There was nothing bright-eyed about Brian being a pro footballer, walking around an NFL building. I mean, Brian had those type of expectations.
Cushing's there to sack him. Brian Cushing does the job. Blasted by Brian Cushing. Cushing gets there first, a TFL.
It didn't take long for Cushing to get acclimated to the Texans defense. In his first year in the NFL, he made the NFL All-Rookie team and was named AP Defensive Rookie of the Year.
Rookie year was special. I think any rookie really just wants to come in and contribute and be a good teammate. So to be able to make an immediate impact was very fulfilling. I wanted to help the franchise eventually get to the playoffs and just be a competitor. And that was the most important thing to me. So to come here in my rookie year and really just establish myself and help the team was meant a lot to me.
Cushing evolved into not only a great linebacker, but a leader on the defensive side of the ball, and that unit's soul.
When I came in, you know, I watched the year before, the team from the year before, and the players from the year before, and when we started training camp, I showed the defensive team some plays that Cushing was playing. I just said, watch this guy. And I had several plays. I said, if everybody plays like this guy, we're going to have a good defense.
One thing to be a good player, and then it's another thing to kind of elevate your game to the next level to become a leader. It was something that I wanted to do right away, but you know, as everyone knows, as a rookie, it's kind of tough. You need to be a little bit more established. So it takes a lot of reps, it takes years to be a leader, and it takes your word to mean something. And there's a lot of categories that you have to check in order to be a leader, but I felt it came naturally.
In Cushing's third year, the Texans won the AFC South and made the playoffs, led by a defense known as Bulls on Parade.
Being a part of a team that was the first to do it as an organization, you know, not many people can say that. To be able just to establish a culture and kind of change the mindset of the entire organization and city, to now know there was a proven winner in town and we were just only going to build from there. I think a lot of 2011 was about an attitude, was about establishing a brand of a defense that we wanted to be. And Wade brought an incredible scheme in here with a bunch of great assistant coaches, and we found the right personnel. We played really well together. There was a ton of just consistency in our play, but most importantly, these guys loved playing with each other.
There's a flag down. Brian Cushing has his helmet off. He's bleeding a lot.
I look like a psycho. I'm just keeping my helmet on for the rest of the game. Yeah, I'm the smart guy that headbutts someone with no helmet on.
It's funny because when you look at some of the great players in the history of this franchise, some of their big moments that you remember the most aren't necessarily the big plays. With Brian Cushing, what do you think about? Bloody face against Cleveland. When he headbutted a guy, he's extremely tough. And he's the leading tackler in the history of this franchise. He's part of so many big moments.
During his time with the Texans, Cushing played with a fearless nature that permeated throughout the entire team. The New Jersey native left an impact that will be remembered by the Texans for years to come.
He was a wild man. I mean, he seemed like he was, but he really knew what he was doing. Now, when he butted the guy in the head, I worried about him a little bit then, but the rest of the time I thought, you know, this guy, he can really play and he knows what he's doing. But
Well, he was fire, you know, that's what he was. And that's the way he played the game. And, you know, just very proud of him. I love what he stood for. And Brian's personality took a part of our football team that, you know, maybe nobody else could have given us, you know. So he deserves a lot of credit for that.
Running to his left, brought down to the backfield by Brian Cushing. Cushing has a backfield blast.
The player that I wanted to be was competitive and consistent. You want to be someone that your teammates can count on, to know that they know exactly what to expect out of you every single day, and the coaches. There wasn't a practice, there wasn't a play, there wasn't a game that I wanted to take off. Whatever I did, it was full go. And that was the most important thing to me, was I couldn't turn it off. You knew what you were going to get out of me, and that's what I wanted to bring every day.
Coming up, John Weeks breaks the record for the most games played by a Houston Texan. That's next on Texans 360. Welcome back to the Ford Studio. It's Texans 360, and John Weeks, he is still on this team, the longest tenured Texan on the roster right now. And you know what? He's still going strong. Came out in 2010, undrafted, still going at it, long snapping. He's got a record for the most games played as a Houston Texan, and that streak is still going strong.
And no matter what happens, win or lose, the Texans going to make a little bit of history on Sunday.
We had men going out to midfield for the coin toss, and one of them, John Weeks for the Texans, about to play in his 170th game for Houston, a new franchise record.
Congratulations. Thanks, brother. Have a good one, all right? Let's go.
John Weeks will snap. Anger with the hold. Fairbairn's kick is up, and it's good.
The famous saying is that you judge a long snapper by not really knowing who the player is, right? I think nothing shows me that the organization has faith in me more than continually let me go out there and do my job at a high level. I've been able to do that for whatever number we're at now, and continually hope to increase that is something that I'm working towards and very proud of. No, I can only hope as a snapper that I can continue to do that at a high level.
Hey, good job, boys. Good job. Yeah, that's perfect.
I always liked that it was kind of a thankless job. I've always liked to just stay under the radar. It was one of those things where the more work I put into it, the more comfortable I got with it and the better I got with it. I thought I had a chance to be good at it. I thought it was going to give me the opportunity to go to a very good school and get a great education, so I continued to work at it, and here we are. There was a time for 2 years when I was out of football working towards becoming a firefighter that I thought that dream and that reality of becoming a professional football player was over, and that's fine.
Jonathan Weeks, Baylor University. That's a strike.
I gave myself a few months, told myself I'd give it one more crack at it, and prepared for that camp, and when I showed up, I had a good day.
Perfect.
The first time I got to actually put on the uniform was back in my hometown of Phoenix for the preseason. So getting to experience the moment of putting on the NFL jersey for the first time with all the people that had encouraged me for those 2 years to continue to work towards my dream and my goal, that was probably the most special moment for
All right, here we go. Come on.
me. To give it one more go and to be able to sign with the team and then to continuously be going, to look back 11 years later and just look back at my journey and my career is something that I'll cherish and be very proud of.
The snap is down, snap is down, snap is down, and it's
coming from my peers, coming from the guys that I share the field with every day, to have their respect is kind of, for me, what it's all about. As long as I know that those guys in the locker room, they respect me, they know that, I'm willing to do whatever I can for the team, whatever I can for the city, and when a time comes and we're called upon to go hit a game-winning field goal, to know that those guys trust me and know that I'm going to deliver my guys a good ball to put it through the uprights, that's what means the world to me, and I'm thankful for every play I get to share in the uniform.
Weeks with the snap, Anger with the hold. The snap is down, Fairbairn's kick is up, and it's good! And the Texans go to the divisional round in dramatic fashion.
Coming up, it's the story behind how Mark Vandermeer became the voice of the Texans. That's next on Texans 360. We're back with more of Texans 360. You know Mark Vandermeer, you probably know his voice even better. He started off at UMass, then he went to Central Michigan, then he was the voice of the Canes for the University of Miami. And now here he is with the Houston Texans. He's got a whole story, and we did a 53 on him. If you want to see the whole version, you'll have to go to HoustonTexans.com, but check out a little portion right here.
So I'm at the Hurricanes, and things are going well. We're going into that 2001 season, and I knew the Texans were coming into the league and everything. And at the time, I thought, the NFL is the top line of play-by-play. It really is. So when the NFL had an opening, because it's a new franchise, it was intriguing to me, but I was just at Miami for a couple of years. I was happy at Miami. And I got a call from somebody with the Texans organization. Do you want to be a candidate for this position?
We They're ready to rock in Houston.
Eventually, I got the job here with the Texans, and it was the thrill of a lifetime to know that I was coming to the National Football League and be the first guy in. It is beyond special for me to be the voice of a team, but to be the only voice that the team ever had. In this business, I don't take that lightly.
Touchdown, Houston! David Carr to Billy Miller, the first touchdown in Texans history.
I came to Houston not knowing anything about Houston. I knew that I was part of sports history in this city, whether I was good or not. I was the voice of this new NFL franchise, and I sought out Gene Peterson. I sought out Milo Hamilton. These guys are legends in this city. And then I met Andre Ware. And Andre Ware and I formed a team that has been together since opening night, and he is a wonderful color commentator. We have a great sound together. And having John Harris on the sideline is like having Google on the sideline, except in an entertaining way. So I love our crew and the guys behind the scenes as well.
Hello, everyone. I'm Mark Vandermeer with Andre Ware and John Harris on the sideline. Welcome to our coverage of Houston Texans football.
When I was a kid, I used to dream about playing guitar at Madison Square Garden. I saw Led Zeppelin as a kid. Yes, I did. And I just wanted to do something like that. So the first time I broadcast a game at Madison Square Garden, I was blown away. I thought, my dream has come true. I was the voice of UMass. We played a game at the Garden, and I was doing my job at Madison Square Garden. You never know how your dreams will come true or how they will show up. You have to allow a wide berth there. And today, I'm in NFL stadiums every weekend, and it is the thrill of a lifetime. I am living my dream every day, every year. Every day I come to work in a football stadium, pinch me. This is a fantastic life, and I'm loving every minute of it.
Now running to his right across the 50, 45 cuts inside. Medea topside fires the 3. Got it!
The Hurricanes win the national championship.
The 10, the 5, rock and roll. Touchdown, Houston! 97 yards. That one's for you, Bob.
It's over. The Texans have done it. They have beaten the Dallas Cowboys on opening night in team history. An historic night as the Houston Texans debut with a blast.
Andre Johnson, welcome to the playoffs. Rock and roll. The Texans win it. Touchdown. He's in. He's in. Magical.
We're back for one final segment of Texans 360. Gary Kubiak, he was the head coach of the Houston Texans back from 2006 to 2013, but he was a quarterback at St. Pius, a quarterback at Texas A&M. He was a backup quarterback to John Elway. He did all that before he even made his transition into coaching. And Gary Kubiak, while he's done a lot of things for the Texans, he might most notably be known for taking the team to the playoffs back in 2011 and 2012. What an exciting time that was for the city and for the franchise. We had a chance to sit down with Gary Kubiak. He took a look back at his career and all the people that influenced him along the way. But you can check out the full version on HoustonTexans.com.
The line between 7 wins and 11 wins, sometimes it's just a few plays. Is it simply just a matter of circumstances, in a lot of different ways that caused what happened in 13?
Drew, it's interesting. We started 2-0, right?
Yeah.
We had that late Monday night opener in San Diego.
Yep.
We go to overtime. Our first 2 games it had some wear and tear on our team, but we're 2-0 and we're a good football team. And boy, we couldn't win a close game, and that's the fine line in the National Football League when the dauber gets going one way mentally, and it seemed like every time you're there to win a game or make that play, you're not making it. It can go the other way real quick too. So, that's part of football, and ended up not being a good year for me, and the team moved on from me after that. But I have great respect for the opportunity they gave me. I worked as hard that year as I did the good year, so I'm proud of that. But I understand it. That's all part of the game.
Coach, was there a certain spot in your career in your life where football was at its best, at its purest?
I don't think I could say that, Drew. I think the thing that meant the most to me about the game, be it playing or coaching or relationships, you know. So yeah, I got some nice trophies. They mean a lot to me, but it's the relationship with players, scouts, people that work in the cafeteria, the film guys, the trainers, you guys, you know, all those relationships with good people that have done it for so long. And when they tell you you did something right, that's a good feeling.
One of the great things I've learned along the way in this business is the number one thing you got to do when you get going with the team is you got to have expectations. You got to have a standard. But I want y'all to know my dream is to see the city win a championship someday. That is our ultimate goal. And when I wake up tomorrow, we'll start working toward that.
Lighting it up at St. Pius, ball boy for the Oilers, Texas A&M, NFL player, assistant coach in the NFL, head coach in the NFL. You ever look back and think, holy cow, how did this happen? How surreal?
Yeah, the first thing, Drew, time flies, you know, so you better enjoy it. That's probably the first thing. But yeah, it's been really special for me. And, you know, God, when I start talking to you or somebody and I mention a name and people, you were with him, you know, and you know, I don't know what to say. I just feel very blessed. And, you know, for the game in a lot of ways to bring me right back home, not many people can say that. So that's something I'm looking forward to. All right, Drew, so you drilled me when I was coaching, you know, and you asked me all these questions. You guys come out here, you've been drilling me for 2.5 hours. How about we fish a little bit?
Remember, you can catch that feature as well as all the other 53s you saw in tonight's episode up on HoustonTexans.com. They are much longer, much more in depth. And you know what? There's a lot more to catch on the website as well, like tickets, because week 1 is just around the corner. The Houston Texans host the Jacksonville Jaguars. Check them out on HoustonTexans.com. Tickets as well as the Houston Texans mobile app. And if you're at the game, you're going to want to hashtag that football feeling because you may see your picture up on the big board, up on a show. You don't know where you're going to see it. So thank you so much for watching. As always, go Texans.
Thanks for watching and go Texans. Like, subscribe, and ring the bell for new content.